Good morning, good morning. It's Tuesday morning. It's a little breezy here in Charlotte today. I want to thank God that we awoke. Of course, my allergies is acting up and twitching my nose. I'm sorry, y'all. But I learned about some new things that can possibly help me, some new herbs. So I'm going to be trying them soon, and hopefully I will get some relief and some benefit, but I can actually say my allergies have gotten better since I've been here. I've had allergies since I was 14 years old, and I think I told y'all several times. And I've been suffering, but it's never been this bad. And I didn't know if it was because I was getting older or, Charlotte just has an extreme effect on me. However, when I did my research, Charlotte has an extreme effect on me. So I am so thankful that I'm getting better, but it's not 100%, so I still suffer, but I need to get off of these meds and take them as less as possible. And I thank God that this year, I'm so thankful. I normally take antibiotics 4 times a year. However, this year has been the best year since I've been in North Carolina. I haven't had to take an antibiotic all year long, so I am so blessed. I feel, y'all don't even know, because taking them antibiotics, y'all see me on Instagram or Facebook, where I be like, I'm back at the urgent care again, and they give me antibiotics. And even though the antibiotics help my body get rid of all them toxins fast and help me get better, but it also has a lot of side effects as well. So when I take the antibiotics, my immune system drops, my stomach starts to bother me, but I feel better instantly. I just got to deal with the other pain, so I want to just get away from taking all them antibiotics and keep my immune system built, I don't want my immune system dropping, but, sometimes I just have to take it. And right now, like I said, I'm thankful that I haven't had to take antibiotics so far this year. The year's not over, so we don't know what's going to happen. But for the most part, I went all year. The last time I took antibiotics was back in November of 2019 when I went to the doctor right before the COVID really, really hit. We knew that it was coming, but we didn't know exactly when it would get over here to America. But that's when I had took antibiotics last, and I'm thankful that I've been able to keep my immune system built so I don't catch the COVID, So it was a wonderful thing, because I was already working on that transition, and I'm trying to eat and drink the things that I'm supposed to every single day to keep my body healthy and strong. So it worked, and I'm happy. I'm happy that it worked. And that's why I want to try some new things, and maybe that'll help even more. My surroundings play a big part. It was a lot of algae in the water, but now they're keeping it clean, so that helped. But one of my friends in New York has put me on to some other things that I could have been immune to the algae and it wouldn't even bothered me. So I'm going to start working on some things, because you never know when things are going to shut down and people can't continue to do the things to help you stay healthy, you know what I mean? And you're around bad toxins, and they could affect your body. So people, it's always good to do your research and see what herbs and spices and foods help your body, And I tell people all the time, everybody's different. So you got to seek what's going to help you, the problems that you may have in your life with your body, and start investing in yourself. You got to invest in yourself. One of my, like I was saying, one of my friends, he was talking about how you can look fit, but not be strong. And it's the truth. You know what I mean? Even though, I'm not that big, but, I'm average for my size woman. And I notice a lot of people that is fit, or slimmer, I am stronger than them. I've had to tussle with them, and I see where I can actually, I can really hurt them if I wanted to. You know what I mean? And that's because I eat healthy, and we are what we put in our bodies, so we have to pay attention to that. I was looking at a TikTok yesterday, and I was laughing, and the lady, one of the ladies on TikTok, nice lady, and she had some wine. Well, she was drinking water, okay? And she said, I'm giving my liver some refreshing, refreshing my liver. And then she went back to the drinking, and people don't realize that when we do all this stuff, we have to flush our bodies, of the negative toxins that's in what we put in our bodies, We don't always know where our foods come from, if they've been contaminated, so we got to look at all of these things before we put it in our bodies, and I tell people every day, that's one of the reasons why I don't eat out. They say, why you never go to the restaurant? I used to, back in the day. Now I may go maybe once a year, and I'm saying a heavy prayer, okay, while I'm there. Because you just don't know what you're putting in your bodies. You don't know how these people are cooking your food. You don't know how long the meat sat out. You don't know how long, if they cleaned it right. If their hands were clean. We don't know because we're not back there while they're cooking it. And, people say to me, would you want a chef? If you became a big millionaire? No, I don't want a chef. I'm sorry, I don't want a chef. And I have nothing against people that's in the field. However, they make all these meals and they put all of this stuff in their food, and then you turn around and get sick. And then you're saying, why? What are they doing to the food? And it's not that they're doing anything to the food. They're using their recipes, and their recipes may call for things that your body can't handle. You know what I mean? Everybody is different, and yes, they're supposed to ask you, before they cook for you. But I just don't want to be bothered. I don't want no chef coming to me every day. Hey, Jackie, or hey, Miss JJ. Oh, I forgot to introduce myself, y'all. I'm a little tired today. This is Jacqueline, Miss JJ Diamond, Deja, Jackie, whatever y'all call me. That's my intro, and I forgot. I'm sorry. But with that being said, I don't want a chef coming to me every single day saying, Jackie, I was thinking about making this for dinner, or what would you like for dinner? And, and they put all this stuff, and then I'm sick. When I can get up and cook my own food and know what I'm putting in it, and I'm okay. You know what I mean? So I just won't be one of those if I become a big millionaire, billionaire, trillionaire, doesn't matter, have someone slaving over stove for me, And I had a bad experience recently. I can't eat sour cream, and a chef that I know had made some mashed potatoes, and they put sour cream in his mashed potatoes. And you talk about a person's stomach that was tore down, and they only put a little tiny bit. That's what makes it so bad. 1 teaspoon is all they put, and I was sick as a dog, But I had told them that sour cream makes me sick, but they forgot, and I had to take it for what it was. And I didn't know until after I ate it, and I was sick as a dog, you know what I mean? So, it affected me, You try to tell people these things, and then they look at you like, oh, it ain't going to bother you. I'm only going to put a little bit. And that little bit can affect you, So people have to realize that not everybody can tolerate certain things. And that's just the bottom line. That's why I always ask people, even when I have their children in my care, I always ask them, what do your kids eat? Is they allergic to this? Because I've been there, I've been through it, when you go to people's house and your parents drop you off and say, okay, here, watch my kid. And then they're feeding you all of these things that's going to make you sick. And then now you got to suffer for a couple of days because you want to eat something that your body is not tolerating. So that's why I always ask. I always say, hey, what is your kid allergic to? Do they eat this, and this, the stuff that I have in my house? Sometimes they look at me like I'm crazy, but it is what it is, people. Y'all have to understand that when people are ill, you have to take precautions, and especially with allergies, because there's some allergies that can actually take your breath away, you know what I mean? And you can actually die, if it's not treated right away, and I'm thankful that I'm not allergic to seafood, because I've seen some people that eat seafood and it really messes them up real bad. So yeah, pay attention, y'all, when y'all out here eating and watch your body. Just pay attention to your body. You know your body. You know what I'm saying? Pay attention. Y'all pay attention to everything else. Pay attention and invest in your body. Okay, we're gonna get into the podcast today. We're gonna talk about doing wrong to people and then turning around not trusting them because you've done wrong to them. And that's your guilt. We're going to talk about that today. There's a lot of people that will do wrong. And I'm going to use my mom, for instance. Everybody know I love Tina so much. Even after the event with me and my little brother, I still love my mother. That's one thing about a child that's been with their mother, been around their mom, not all their lives, but, well, I could say all their lives because I was young. I was real young. So, yeah, all my life been around her. You have that attachment to your mother. You know what I mean? A mother only comes one time, and you build that attachment, that bond, And it's the same with a grandmother as well. However, my mom, she wasn't really a bad person. My mother taught me a lot. She taught me a lot. Even though she had her issues with her addiction, she taught me a lot, and she made sure that I had what I needed to read and learn, My mother, I'll never forget, I was 5 years old, and I think it was 5 years old. And she said, I got a gift for you. It was a big box, right? She said, I got a gift for you. And I was wondering what was in the box. I was thinking it was some new toys and stuff. And she opened up the box, and all I seen was these books. And it came with a shelf, too. And she said, look what I bought you. She was so excited, look what I bought you. And I said, books, Mommy, books? And she said, yeah, these are encyclopedias. Britannica, the best on the market. And it came with a shelf. Come on, let's put it up. So we put these encyclopedias up. Right? And I was like, why she buying them these books? So, I would look through them, because I was young, I would look through them. I didn't really understand at that point, what it was made for. And then my other family members, they had those same books in their house too, but I had the children's version. So at my house, I was reading the children's version of the encyclopedias, and then I would go to my auntie's house and read the adult version of the encyclopedias, and it was still Britannica. I wonder what happened to them, because I want to buy some for my child, because that's one of our family traits, to have encyclopedias in our house. Do they even sell encyclopedias anymore? I got to do some research. But getting to the point, my mother, she was big on reading, big on knowledge, big on culture, and these are the things that she brought to light in my life. And even though my little brother, got killed by her boyfriend or whatever the case may be, I never stopped loving my mother. You know what I mean? I just didn't understand why she left us, in that house. And I realized she had to go to work, but with this strange man. I always had that battle in my heart, and it took me a long time to get rid of it, but I never stopped loving her. I just didn't understand, So with that being said, my mother, when she had got cancer, and if y'all read the book, That Boxer, her story is in there. It's chapter, I forgot what chapter it is, guys. But if you read the book, That Boxer, it's on Amazon. Oh, and speaking of Amazon has went gold, people. And today is Pajama Gold Day, okay, at the facilities. However, I will be doing some pictures today with my pajamas and my gold jacket to represent Amazon. I'm going to tell y'all why Amazon has went gold, okay? There's a lot of children out here in America, and this is why we're teaching every single day about herbs and spices and foods, because we're getting sick and tired of these children being born or growing into having cancer, okay? Before they was getting old, getting cancer, 40s, 50s, you diagnosed with cancer. And these kids are getting cancer, and a lot of that plays on if cancer runs in your family. That's one factor. The second factor is what we put in our bodies. Okay, that's the second factor. And, a lot of parents today work. They work every day, and it's hard to monitor what your child is putting in their bodies. They go to school, they go to daycare, and you just don't know what is affecting your children, and helping them cancer cells grow, and this is where we got to get to the bottom of it. Yes, we're waiting on a cure, but we've been waiting on a cure for over 20-something years, okay? So with that being said, sometimes you got to go back and say, okay, we've been waiting on this cure for 20-something years now. There's been cancer survivors, so they've mastered how to cure this thing or put it on halt. But there's still no cure. So now this is where we have to build our bodies strong enough to fight them cancer cells from growing in our bodies, okay? And we have to start it young, when they're young. I'm going to talk about my little junior real quick, and then I'm going to go back to what I was talking about in the beginning about my mom and being guilty and feeling guilty. And I can give you some other stories as well, examples, but I'm just giving you an example. But we're going to talk about the cancer real quick. But Amazon has dedicated themselves to trying to get monies up for these children, okay? Just like St. Jude, and we're supporting Amazon on this mission, and next year we'll be doing the same thing, gold in September for these children, they recognize that, there'd be parents that just can't afford cancer treatment for their children because, most of the time once you get cancer, if you're working, your job, insurance to pay for it, but you got some parents out here that just don't have that type of insurance and it's not willing to pay for the insurance of a cancer patient, whether it's your child, husband, doesn't matter, and sometimes you deplete your insurance. Like when I worked for Frito-Lay, okay, as soon as I stepped on their grounds, they gave me $1 million, okay, health insurance. But throughout the duration of me working for them, if I use up all that $1 million, what am I going to have when I get older? You know what I mean? So I used to try to find ways, like my kids, they use most of it. I didn't get nowhere near $1 million. But the point that I'm trying to make is my kids were the ones that was using my insurance for real. My son had a couple of things he had to get done, surgery. Egypt had a small surgery. They needed to get some skin treatment, so he used it for that. And I just used it for basic going to the doctor, getting physicals, and And, just basic stuff. I might need an antibiotic for my allergies, my sinuses, or whatever the case may be. So I really didn't use a lot. But think about a person, that child had cancer. And they got to stay maybe in a hospital for months and months and months. $1 million go fast. So even if they had the insurance, now the insurance went away. And this is the reason why we support some of these big companies when it comes to people needing money for cancer. And we have more and more children today that's getting cancer. And some of the parents haven't even had cancer, but they have those cancer cells, So with that being said, we got to start training our bodies, to eat right. And when we give these foods to our children, that they're eating right as well. Shout out to my doctor, Dr. Sumalang. It was my doctor, my kid's doctor. He was a Chinese doctor. And he will get on my back like I was his child. Okay, he would get me in a room and give me a lecture from here to kingdom come, okay, and about my children, and he said, listen here, you're going to do X, Y, and Z to make sure that these kids live, and do it yourself too, so you could get, better or whatever the case may be. And I've learned to put my kids on a certain diet and I eat just like them, We do exercise together. People tell you when I was in Maryland, my son would exercise with me, my oldest son. That's why I hate that we're apart, because we don't get to exercise together no more, But now I got Egypt, we exercise together, So these are the things that you're supposed to do with your children, young people, young. We have to build their body strong to fight these toxins, so we can get away from the children needing money for cancer treatment, because the cancer treatment is hard on the body. I watched 4 of my family members fight the battle of cancer treatment, and they still didn't make it. Okay? And we'll talk about that one day, But getting back into feeling guilty because you've done something and you think a person haven't let it go. Okay? If y'all read my story in Wounded, Survive, and Thrive, chapter, I think it's 19 or 11, one of the two, I can't remember, y'all. I be doing so much I can't remember stuff. But the title of my story is called The Faith to Forgive. You have to learn how to forgive within yourself as well. Okay? And it's in that story where I had to forgive my mom, for what me and my brother went through. Okay? But she didn't forgive herself. Okay? And I kind of talk about that a little bit in that boxer. My mother was so angry that I wanted to put her in a cancer institution. She thought I was putting her in a nursing home. And I worked every day full time, 70 hours a week for Frito-Lay. And granted, in order for me to pay for her cancer treatment, I needed to be at work. Okay? So, with that being said, it needed extra on top of that. And that's one of the reasons why I had bought the Snyder's route. For those that know what a vendor route is, Maryland, y'all know. Some of the rest of the world is so, they don't know nothing else. They don't know nothing out here, like in Charlotte. I tell people, yeah, I had owned a Snyder's route, and they look at me like I'm crazy. Only people that know vendor talk is vendors here and out here. Now, up in Maryland, in Washington area, DMV area, you tell them you own a vendor route, they know exactly head on what you're talking about. These people here, they sold, they don't know nothing, and I spent $150,000 for my vendor's route and had to get rid of it because it just wasn't for me. I liked working for Frito better. I had to see some things, but I did it because my mother needed money for cancer treatment. And her insurance, she worked for the city of New York, and they were not paying for no cancer treatment, top cancer treatment. They was going to give us cancer treatment, don't get me wrong, but she wasn't getting the top of the top cancer treatment. And I wanted to make sure she got the best of the best, you know, and that's where, and y'all can read it in that boxer, I just needed her to have the best of the best. And I was willing to work and sacrifice to make sure she had that, to keep my mother here with me, you know. But anyway, what happened with me and my little brother as a child, my mother had a lot of guilt still within her. You know, she didn't completely forgive herself. You know, she used to always tell me, you know, Jackie, you need to let it go. But she didn't let it go, you know. And I told her, I said, Mommy, come on, I'm going to put you in the cancer institution. I'm going to come here every day. It was in Philadelphia. I had set up appointments and everything. And the day before she passed away, and it's funny because I didn't even tell her. She must have knew I was coming to get her, you know. The day before she passed away, I had already set up where I was going to meet with the people. I was actually going to New York to get adult custody, go to the courts and get adult custody, because she was just acting irate and didn't want to do the things that she was supposed to do to help herself. So I feel like a lot of that played on her guilt, thinking that I was going to try to kill her because she had cancer based on what happened to me and my little brother. And I believe that's what she was fighting. You understand what I'm saying? She kept saying, no, I'm not going to no cancer institution. I'm not going nowhere. You're not taking me nowhere. I don't want y'all doing nothing to me. And I'm like, what we going to do to you? We trying to make you better. But she wasn't in her right mind. So this is where I was going to go get custody to bring her to Philadelphia and get her the treatment that she needed, and then bring her home with me where I can fully take care of her. And I even called up, it was called A Place Like Home for Mom. You know, it was in Bel Air. And I knew she was about to retire, so she would have had some benefits coming to her. But I knew it wasn't going to be enough, so I had to work extra hard. I was already paying for her rent. You know, I had to work extra hard to make sure Mommy be straight. And she lived in a good area in Bel Air and in Harford County. Once everything was done, you know, all the cancer treatments, and she got better, because the cancer that she had was a survivable cancer. People have had it and they survived, but she gave up. And I still have in my heart that she gave up because she was feeling guilty for what happened to me and my little brother when we were young. You know? Because I just can't understand how you have a beatable cancer, even though it was at stage 4. Stage 4 is not a death sentence anymore, people. So they have this thing down pat, you know, in the science, you know. So you can survive. You can prolong your life. Where back when my aunt died from stage 4 cancer, you wasn't survivable, so they gave you morphine and waited for you to die. Okay? Nowadays, at a stage 4 cancer, you can survive. I've met people, I know people that has survived it in Maryland. Stage 4 cancer. So, there was no reason for her to give up. No reason whatsoever. But she did. And I always feel like it was the guilt. And so this is why I want to talk about when you do stuff to people. Sometimes we do stuff to people and it's out of our control. You know, and we have no other choice but to go through the pain of what we've done. However, then there's times where people do stuff to you and they know they're doing it to you, or they've done it to you and they won't let it go because they know they've done so much bad to you that they can't really face you the way they want to face you. And they don't see how you do really love them because they've done so much bad to you. You know? And that guilt will eat your insides up. It will eat your soul. You will burn. Okay? Because you've done so much wrong to people, and you can't even forgive yourself and fly straight. Okay? And that's why I'm talking about this, even though I made this podcast more about cancer than anything, and I do apologize for that. However, when you do things, try to do them right when it comes to involving other people. You know, I've had a lot of people do so much wrong to me, it's unreal. And I forgive them. That don't mean I'm going to deal with them, but I do forgive them. And I forgive them for my sake. It has nothing to do with them. Because I don't want to live with that baggage on me. I got my own baggage to live with. I don't want to live with extra baggage on me. So I'll forgive them and just don't deal with them. That's how I deal with it. You know. But can you forgive yourself for what you've done negative to a person? Okay? That's the key. Because you have to live with this, especially when you have to have ties with it. You know, with a certain person. You know, like I'm going to use my grandson for instance. You know, he was acting out for the last 8 years. Okay, no, it's 8. Since my mother passed away. Well, he was always acting out because he had his disabilities with his ADHD or whatever the case may be. But it got worse, you know, and he hated the fact that I lost my house, I lost my job, you know, so he just wanted to be difficult. You know, everything he did was a problem, you know, and faulted me for everything that happened, you know, and you understand a child, you know, they don't understand what life is really about. So the first person they point at is mom. Mom, this is all your fault. This is your fault why we lost our house. This is your fault why we lost our business. This is your fault why you lost your job. But they don't know the problems that you had to go through as well. You know, they don't know the sacrifices that you made because they are not wealthy any longer. You know what I mean? And, you know, a lot of people used to think we were rich, but we weren't rich, okay? I just managed my money very well, you know, and people didn't understand how, you know, my kids had a lot. They did, you know. And I tell people every day I wasn't rich. I used to try to tell the government I'm not rich. Why y'all keep trying to put me in the rich category? Because I'm not rich, you know. But this is what they do, you know. My kids didn't take it that well. You know, my oldest child, he figured it out. You know, he said, well, now it's time for me to start taking care of me. But this younger one, he wanted to be the devil. You know, every time I turn around, I'm in a courthouse. Every time I turn around, he's doing something, you know, and I understood it, but it was nothing I can do about it. You know what I mean? That this is our life now. You know, and you have to accept it until we do better, you know. But now he has a lot of that guilt in him, you know, of all the things that he's done wrong. You know, and he knows that the things that he's done wrong is coming back one way or another. He just don't know how and why and when, you know. And it's not always the way you expect it to be, you know. And that's what I laugh about, you know. People always think, okay, well, it's going to come back to me the way, you know, I dished it out. It's not always going to come back that way. So this is why you have to learn and ask God for forgiveness and let it go so you can move forward. Because if you don't let it go, it's going to eat at you. You're going to have a hard time trying to, you know, that's the paranoia. You know, when you get paranoid that this person going to do this to me, is that person going to do this to me, this person is trying to hurt me because you've done so much wrong. You have to learn how to let these things go and move forward and take whatever consequences come with it. Okay? Because if you live your life thinking that everybody's out to get you, you're going to pretty much burn in hell right here on earth. You're going to be miserable. Every day that you wake up is misery. And then that's when, you know that saying that they say misery loves company? They create other misery. Okay? So they want some people around them that's just like them. so they can be miserable together because they don't want to let go of the negativity, okay, that they've put out. You know, we have to learn to love people, you know, really love. Think about what you would want done to yourself, okay? Would you treat somebody a certain way, and then when they treat you like that, can you accept it, or would you go off on them? Okay, this is what we have to learn, okay? How to treat people so there won't be negative impacts in your life. You know, I treat people, I treat everybody kind. This is why I don't have too many negative impacts in my life. Okay? I treat them all kind. You treat me negative, then that's on you. You removed yourself out of my life. That's how I've always been. Because once you're a friend to me, you're a friend forever. You know, I got friends right now that I ain't been around in 20 years, 30 years. And I can call them up right now. Now, if I don't deal with them, it's because I choose not to. Because of things that they've done to me. And I don't feel like dealing with that drama and that extra. But I can still call them up because it's not something that I've done to them. So you get it? You understand? You play your part. You never be that one where you can't pick up that phone and call if you wanted to. Even though you know that they're so negative and you don't want to be around them anyway. But you can pick up that phone and call them because you didn't do anything wrong. They are the ones that did wrong. Okay? And that's how you always leave it. Yeah, I know sometimes we be wanting to go off, punch a person in the face, you know. And I've been there too. We had to bust a couple of people. You know, I ain't perfect, y'all. That's what, you know, I always tell y'all I ain't perfect. People get you to the point where you just got to punch them in the face. You know? And then, you know, that's when I was young. Now I'm a little older. And I'm a lot older. And my discipline, I have my discipline attitude down packed now. So I don't have to punch people in the face. You know? They know by the way I look at them that I'm about to punch you in the face and you better move away. You know what I mean? So, or the way I speak to them, that I'm not about to tolerate whatever you about to do and it could get ugly. You know? So, a lot of people know about my actions, my eyes, you know, the way I speak to them, that it's about to get ugly. So, you better cut whatever you're doing. You know? But we have to learn to not portray the same things that other people are portraying. You know, learn to deal with things differently. You know, just because you can't turn two wrongs into a right. Okay, and I know y'all heard that saying because a lot of people say it. Two wrongs don't make a right. You got to have a negative and a positive in order to make a positive. Okay? Now, I'm saying it like that because y'all go to school every day. And in math, y'all going to hear that. You can't turn a negative and a negative into a positive, but you can turn a negative and a positive into a positive. And maybe it not be a lot of positive, but it'll be some positive. Okay? So, this is where you treat people as kind as possible. Like I said, sometimes we do things to people that we don't know that we're doing wrong. Or we don't mean to do it wrong. And it may hurt. Like, oh man, I did this and I didn't mean to do this. I didn't want to do this. But you have to learn to forgive yourself. Okay? But those that do it intentionally because they're angry about their lives, those are the ones that definitely need to let it go. Because then they're killing themselves with paranoia, guilt. if the person that you've done it to let it go, you need to let it go. Because now you're going to create more problems in your life because you're not letting go of these negative feelings. And everybody that you touch base with, you're going to feel that negativity. You're going to get these bad vibes because all you are is a bad vibe. See, we create our energy, people. You know, I was watching this movie yesterday, and I forgot the name of it. You know, I'm always watching these different movies. And just to see, like, you know, different things that go on in people's mindset when they write these movies, you know. Like I said, it's not even a movie where y'all should, I must watch. I don't want y'all to watch this one, but I'm going to tell y'all about it. This lady had a perfect husband, okay? And they were trying to get pregnant. She couldn't get pregnant, whatever the case may be. And he went to the doctor, checked himself, you know, and he was good. She didn't go to the doctor. But she wanted a family. She needed to have a family. She wanted to be pregnant. Anyway, long story short, she met this guy. And it wasn't that she wanted to meet this guy. You know, it just happened. You know, helping out a friend, she met this guy, and he had a family. He loved his wife. Anyway, but they had an attraction for each other. They built an attraction for each other. And it's not that the attraction was there from the beginning. They built that attraction for each other by meeting each other throughout their work and the things that they were doing. Long story short, before this podcast go away, she wound up sleeping with this man and got pregnant. But she didn't know that he couldn't get her pregnant anymore because he had a vasectomy and the baby was actually her husband's. But she felt so guilty about sleeping with this man behind her husband's back, knowing that her husband really loved her. Okay, but because he didn't want a kid, she was being selfish. Okay? And it's not that he didn't want a kid. He said that he didn't want a child because she couldn't get pregnant. Just let it happen when it happens. But she was like going through this mental issue about being pregnant. Except the man thought the man impregnated her. Okay? Turn around, it was the husband's baby, and she got rid of the baby. Okay, the guilt. You see the guilt. And the man that she slept with told her, look, go tell your husband what happened between us. I lost my family behind it. Not saying that you're going to lose yours. However, you still need to be honest of what you've done wrong. And she refused to do it. So she went and got an abortion. And it was her husband's baby. Okay, that guilt was eating at her and just eating at her and eating at her. To where she killed her own child, something she was begging for. So you see how I can turn on you? And stuff like this happens in real life, people. You know. This is Jacqueline Richardson, Miss JJ Diamond, Jackie, Deja, whatever y'all call me. I love you all. Thank y'all for listening. And I will talk to y'all tomorrow. Y'all have a good, healthy, safe day.